People of the tube. For those of you who may not know, Syrian rebels are claiming that their government used chemical warfare against its own citizens, killing over 1,400 people. The short of it is that there's a fair chance the US is going to be getting its hands dirty against the Syrian government in the near future. Now to remind everyone, the Syrian Civil War started in 2011 when peaceful protesters were targeted and killed by the Syrian government under President dictator Assad. But instead of stopping the protesters, these violent crackdowns just made them more angry, like trying to put out a house fire with napalm, or trying to subdue an army of bulldog ants with the bottom of your foot. So the takeaway from this part is that if ever you are a dictator, first of all, please unsubscribe from my channel, but secondly, unless you want to turn tens of thousands of peaceful protesters into tens of thousands of angry revolutionaries with guns and grenade launchers, maybe don't go killing civilians. Just a thought. But anyway, since the chemical attacks, the Obama administration has been considering bringing the pain to Syria's dictatorship. You know, cruise missiles, airstrikes, your basic ponage. The idea being, you punish President Assad now to deter other governments from using chemical weapons in the future. And you know I appreciate the sentiment, truly I do. But at the same time, there's this other part of me that's going, what are you? What? Let's break this down. Before this chemical attack, 100,000 Syrians were killed by, I don't know, non-chemical weapons. But now that 1,400 people get killed by chemical warfare, we have to charge in. I admit it, chemical weapons are terrible. They can kill large numbers of civilians indiscriminately. But then again, so can battering residential areas with artillery shells or, I don't know, spraying bullets into crowds, like Assad has been doing for a long, long time. But at least we're finally getting involved, right? It's complicated. You see, after the Civil War, the US was busy squabbling over whether or not to help the rebels. But by the time we finally got around to sending the rebels weapons, Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups kind of filled in our aid vacuum. So at this point, if you're helping out the rebels, it's a pretty fair bet you're also helping arguably the most dangerous terrorist organization on the planet. And because things just weren't complicated enough, Iran, which is a strong ally of Syria, is threatening to attack Israel if we go through with the strikes. Please don't get me wrong, I think it would be great to do something about the killings in Syria, unless it ropes Israel and Iran into the war, leads to further destabilization and results in a lot more dead people. Yeah, but other than that, it's a pretty solid plan. A hopefully promising development is that the international community is calling for Syria to hand over all of its chemical weapons. Now, do I hope Syria will follow through? Sure. Do I think they will, though? Well, but unfortunately I have to be the guy who says, even if Syria does give up all of its chemical weapons, how will that change the war on the ground? Because from where I'm sitting, it basically means that Assad's just gonna have to use some other ways to kill those citizens. To be honest, it is extremely difficult to know the final outcome. So my question for you is, do you think we should intervene? Could there even be a way to get involved without using the military? What are some of those possibilities? Thoughts, imagination, research. If you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It takes literally a moment and it helps me out a lot. Thanks for watching, people of the tube, and I'll see you next week.